Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
What's happening, fight fans? Welcome back to Combat Sports UK. Back with another not pre-fight interview, pre-show interview, I should say, because we're going to be talking about the full thing. I'm here with owner, producer, matchmaker, promoter of one of the highest and quickest rising MMA promotions on the regional scene, BMF MMA. I'm here with Conor Halliday. Thank you very much for joining me, mate.
Thank you very much for having me. I'll just say that I am everything that you just said because I run it with Steve Meir. I'm the face of it, though. He doesn't like getting interviewed. He doesn't like being out there. So I just take it all instead.
Yeah, I bet you take all the good stuff and all the bad stuff at the at the same time. But like I said, really high rising, fast moving, kind of broke onto the scene a few years ago, BMF MMA, and it's kind of one of the ones that a lot of people are talking about now. Can you just kind of like run me through why you decided to start this promotion, and did you see kind of like a gap in the market to kind of do what you wanted to do and like paint things in your vision?
So I've been involved in martial arts since I was 4. So I'm 27 now. So it's 23 years. It's quite a lot of time. When I was a kid, my dad was a promoter. He ran one of the first shows in the UK called Storm Force in Doncaster. So I've been around the fight game forever, and I've been at fight shows forever. The idea of actually running a fight show, I played with the idea a little bit. I wanted to like reinvent my dad's show. We were going to do like Storm Force 2.0 or whatever, and it just never ended up happening. Me and Steve have been friends for I don't even know how many years now, since 2016-ish. So however long that is, whenever Almighty started, because obviously he originally ran that. We went to the UFC in New York for the BMF fight for Masvidal and Diaz. And in 2020, Steve was trying to set up a gaming convention. We were going to run it at the Barnes and Metrodome. For whatever reason, it didn't happen. We still had the Metrodome, and we were like, "Fuck it, why don't we just make a fight show?" So we're like, "Cool." Steve's got a lot of ideas. I've got a lot of ideas. So we would meet every single week and just pass ideas between each other. Obviously, it ended up being another year until we even ended up doing the first show, but our ideas clicked and everything that we wanted was the same. So like my big thing is like I run a video production company, so like I want the production to be good, I want the graphics to look good, I want people to look at reintroduce it in 24, and I think we just had ideas that gelled and fortunately worked out quite well. I think the first 2 to 3 shows were okay, and show 4 has just been an absolute level. So I don't know what the reason is for us doing it, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, it's kind of been one of the fastest rising shows. Did you kind of expect this kind of popularity and notoriety in the UK regional scene as quickly as it has come for you? Because you see these other promotions and they'll go years and years and years, and they're kind of not moving anywhere or progressing anywhere. But you guys have kind of hit the ground running and really tough. So yeah, did you expect kind of the fast rising popularity that you have had?
So I don't think we expected it to, be this quick, but the ideas we had and the way we wanted to progress every time we was doing a show, just like you said, some people are just flat. They're staying like this all the time, and we haven't. Like, if you look at the difference between show 1 and show 6, like the difference is like it looks like a completely different show. And this is what we do. Like, everybody knows if you're a promoter, you're not making fucking hundreds of thousands and millions of pounds. Whatever money we make, we put it straight back into the show. The production gets brought up every time because any money we make goes to that. So like the last show, the amount of people, including yourself, like the new cage, the walkout, the big screen, all that kind of stuff, everyone were like blown away by it. But then it's going to come to October in 2 weeks' time, and it's going to be better. Like, it's got to be better every time. So I don't think it was good. We didn't think it was going to be as quick. Me personally, I didn't think it was going to be as quick, but I did think we'd get there. But that's because I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to do something, I'm doing it all in balls to the wall kind of attitude because I don't see the point in half-arsing it. So I don't think we expected it to be so quick, but we definitely thought it was going to happen. Yeah, and obviously last year we won regional show of the year, tied with FCC. This year we're coming to smash everybody out the park and take it for ourselves. So
yeah, it was a like I said, talking about that last fight card. See where you were coming from. You had like Danny Missing on the fight, who was like a veteran of the UK scene, and then you had Oscar Owensworth, who was just coming off a PFL fight in Newcastle that I was lucky enough to be at, and then Harry Davies, who's just a savage and will fight anyone and anyone anywhere. Did you kind of get any sort of uplift maybe from that Oscar Owensworth versus Harry Davies fight? Because that was possibly one of the craziest fights that I've ever really seen live before.
What is I watched him fight as an amateur. Like his record on Tapology, because he's had like say my internet's it might so I've known Oscar for like a stupid amount of years. I used to watch him fight amateur scene. If you go on his Tapology page, I think he said he had like 3 amateur fights or 4 amateur fights or something. He's had loads, absolutely loads, fighting on small shows in rings and all that. We had him on BMF 1. His opponent pulled out the week before. Then we got him a replacement. That opponent pulled out. We got him another replacement. That guy didn't turn up to the fight show. Him a guy on like 5 hours notice, and he's sparked him out in like 15 seconds or whatever. Then the next show, he was supposed to fight a guy from France. The guy from France ended up having to pull out. Really, not even a bullshit reason. It was a proper, a legit reason. So we were like scrambling for an opponent, and then Dan Gibbon stepped in, and he's an absolute like OG of UK MMA. So there's 2 different opportunities there for him to win, and I've always wanted for him to succeed because I'm friends with him. So the title fight came about, and Harry Davies had just got that big win on FCC. So we were like, well, this is this can only be a good fight, but I don't think anybody expected that to happen. And having that caliber of fight as your main event, and like people were talking about it for weeks after, like, and I'm gonna give Harry Davies his due here, and you probably heard him say the same thing. He was like, I can do 2 more rounds. Don't worry, I'm fine. Doctor's like, I can see your skull, pal. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, to have that kind of fight on the show was amazing. But what really gets it going for me is seeing the first timers coming on the show. The debut fighters that turn up and they're absolutely unreal. And then obviously the juniors is a completely separate thing, but like the juniors is absolutely smashing it. So having fights like that always helps. And I think it definitely helped that last show. But that entire card, like you said, some of the best fights ever. So
yeah, nuts fight. I remember going into the changing rooms to go see Harry after obviously he fought Oscar, and I'd chatted to Oscar before the fight, and he was gonna come and speak to me after, but his jaw was knackered, so I couldn't speak to Oscar. So I went and spoke to Harry, and Harry's there in the mirror piecing his eyebrow back together, and I'm like, Harry, go to hospital, and he's like, I'm just gonna go home, and then I'm like, you're an absolute madman. But just touching on the BMF juniors, was that kind of something you always wanted to do? Was the junior show?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, like I said, I've been involved in martial arts forever. When I was a kid, MMA, like I could never get an MMA fight. My brother Sam, he was one of the first kids to do an MMA fight in a cage. He did it on Ultimate Force in Doncaster at like 12 years old or something, and that was back in 2006. So you can imagine the uproar in 2006 of a kid having a cage fight. So for me, I also coach a lot of kids. So I just wanted to be able to give them an opportunity. And from BMF 1, we've always had junior fights. So even like this October card is just 1 card, but we always have a junior section. And we released the junior section of the fight card yesterday, and it's unreal. Like it's only 9 fights, but them 9 fights are absolutely solid. And it is something I've always wanted to do, want to be the best at. I got a really funny comment from one of the kids at one of the last shows, and they called me the Dana White of junior MMA, which I'm never going to use it, but I'll take it. I'll take the title. That's fine. But like, I just want people to see that the talent that we've got, because people see the UFC fighters and they see, all the big professionals, but it's like, mate, there's a 9-year-old that'll kick your ass. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is something from the get-go when we set up the show that I wanted. Steve got on board with it straight away, which obviously always helps. And then it's just, ended up turning into its own show. And to be honest, I get more excited for the junior cards than I do for the adults. So
yeah, and you find a lot of promotions kind of following suit with that now as well, which is fantastic to see, because you think about how the scape of UK MMA was 10 years ago to how it is now. Can you just imagine with the platform that you're giving these kids and the experience they're getting in another 10 years? The UK is going to be taking over world MMA, and it's kind of going to be all down to kind of these opportunities that the kids are getting on your shows and other shows in the UK. Just moving on to obviously plans for the future. What are you kind of looking at bringing? Obviously, the next show is very close, but then into 2024, have you got any kind of solid plans? Anything you'd like to implement, and anything that you're really excited for?
Yeah, so we've got all our dates. I was actually supposed to post them dates about an hour ago, so I'm going to do it right this second as we're on this interview, because I've already got it drafted. The plans for next year, we've got 7 shows, so 3 BMF adult shows, 3 BMF junior shows, and then we've got a special show in May, which this will be breaking news now. To you is we're going to BMF Scotland. We're going to do a show in Scotland. There's already shows in Scotland, which are all great. Like, I'm not taking anything away from them, but from what we've heard at BMF in Scotland. So May the 4th, we are going to the Lagoon Centre in Paisley for BMF Scotland, and I'm dead excited for it. I've just posted it this second. So our dates for the next year, I'll tell you whilst we're on here, is BMF 8, March the 16th, BMF Juniors 4, March the 17th, BMF Scotland, May 4th, BMF 9, July 20th, BMF Juniors 5, July 21st, BMF 10, October 19th, and BMF Juniors 6, October 20th. And I'm really excited about that because the 10th show lands in October, which would make it 3 years since we started BMF, which I think is quite special.
That'd be pretty nuts. I'll pop all these in here. This is going to be a very full diary next year, I can imagine. like last year, it was kind of a little bit full, and then this year it's kind of getting a little bit even more full. And I'm just going to have no room for anything else any other weekend. But there's nothing I'd rather do than kind of fight. But just speaking about Scotland, they need a big show. They need a really good show up there, because there's so much talent, and these guys have to travel so far to get on a good quality show. I'm not saying there isn't any in Scotland, but sometimes they don't really they pale in comparison maybe to some of the shows down here. So yeah, they need a big show up there. So I think you'll get a fantastic card on there, and they'll come out in force and support the guys.
Well, we have a lot of Scottish gyms that do travel down, and it is a long time. Like, we drove up to Bathgate to film at higher level the other month before the July show, and like, me driving there, I was fucked. Like, I couldn't even imagine having to drive all the way here and then have a fight. Like, so, and all the people we've spoke to that have been on our show, they've all said, like, we need this in Scotland. So we've answered them. We found a good venue while we were up there. We're pretty much going to make it exactly how it is at Barnsley Metrodome, just in Scotland. We're going to have all the same layout, the same cage, big screens, everything. It's going to be spectacular. I can't wait. And it's on Star Wars Day. Like,
oh, that's pretty. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know how far away it is. We might have to speak to the missus about getting ourselves up there for that show, because she's the one that does the driving, mate. I kind of have to sweeten her up sometimes to drive me all over the country to watch these events.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's about 4 hours.
Oh God.
So,
lovely. Yeah. I'll speak to her in a minute. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's great. Like I said, I'm really excited for the future shows, mate. And like I said, coming to the first BMS show that I did last time, it was clear to see how much effort you guys put into it and how much of a well-run show it was. There wasn't really any hiccups that I could see. I know there's probably stuff going on behind the scenes. but you know, not stuff that was kind of portrayed to me. It just seemed very, very well run and a very, very professional show. And I think you guys are going to do massive things in the future and kind of really good for UK MMA and kind of giving even guys like ourselves, like Combat Sports UK and anything I do on my own, kind of a little bit of a platform, having me along, getting me introduced to these fighters kind of helps me out as well. So I want to thank you for that quite a lot, Connor. But no, just to say thank you very much for joining me, mate, and big things for the future for BMF. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I think you know, when you touched on at the beginning about that, you know, other people are staying flat and we're getting better every time. This is the reason we're doing it, is because we want to be the best. I wouldn't want to run something if I didn't want to be the best. But it's not just that. Like, the relationships we have with the fighters seem to be just more, you know, better than other shows. Like, people trust us, which helps. The junior shows is massive for me because the trust you've got to have for that kid to trust you as, you know, the person in charge. Like, you're fighting in, you know, they're fighting in your cage. Like, you've got to make sure they're safe and everything's ran smoothly and they've got all the best professionals there. Like, stuff like that, tiny little things about safety and communication with fighters, I think, is what puts us above everybody else. I was saying these things last year and it didn't feel right to be saying it because we were only on like BMF 3. You know, we've done a lot more shows now, and I think we've, like you said, we've solidified ourselves. And that's not just through me and Steve. There's a massive team that run that show, down to, you know, from people on the door to my partner runs the social media on the night, which is a job that she created for herself. And, you know, I have a massive team that I'd like to thank. I couldn't name everybody if I tried, but I want to thank them all. I want to thank everybody that supports the show, and thank yourselves for the time for putting us out there and promoting us.
Yeah, definitely, it's not a problem. And just quickly, just before you go, where can we still get tickets for BMF for the next show in October, and kind of where can we get them?
Yeah, so you can get some tickets online at bmfmma.co.uk. There is no standing tickets left, so there's only tiered and a few tables. If you can, buy a ticket off of a fighter, even if you don't know them, look who's fighting, send them a message. If you buy the tickets through the fighters, they get the commission. And I would rather they get the commission than us. So, yeah, through the fighters would be the best. Head over to BMF MMA UK on Instagram, give us a follow, and look at the sick fight cards that we've got for October 7th.
Yeah, you heard it. Go do it, because like I said, it'll be class. It was class last time, and you might see another fight of the year contender, which I'm sure when we do some sort of awards at the end of the year, that Oscar Runsworth versus Harry Davies fight will be on there, and I don't think there'll be much else to knock it out the water. But
no, yeah.
Thanks once again, Connor, and like I said, just make sure follow his guys on Instagram, go get your tickets, follow us on Twitter if you don't already, on Instagram, Combat Sports UK, on pretty much everything. But no, go enjoy your evening, and like I said, see you in October, Connor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, mate. Take care. Thanks. Bye.